So I'm Michelle Kovacevic, YPARD's Global Mentoring Coordinator.
Yeah, and I'm Jim. I'm the YPARD Philippines Country Representative.
And Jim and I today are talking about choosing your mentoring approach. So Jim, if you can tell us, with the Philippines face-to-face mentoring program, why did you choose to actually run a face-to-face mentoring program?
Well, what really started all the interest was the YAP, the Young Agripreneurs Program, which I witnessed personally in South Africa 2 years ago, and it was very fascinating to see that there could be that kind of opportunity for young people to have a mentoring program. The face-to-face decision was more of like it's just that you could get a lot from blended, learning using online platforms, but there's still a difference in how you build relationships when you see people face to face and actually get to interact with them face to face. So, which is why we kind of like really decided that we wanted, or we hoped to run a mentoring program that was face to face.
Cool. And so you just talked then a little bit about some factors that influenced your decision, but were there any major factors that influenced the decision of going face-to-face versus online that you want to mention?
Well, the resources was, something that to consider really. You want to make sure that you make use of what resources you have. So if you don't have that much resources to fly in people all the time, you're gonna have to make some blended parts where you try to set up platforms where it's you got online communications, you use even basic text and calls just to run that program.
Yes.
So basically those were some key factors.
And did you consider other approaches? Did you consider an online program before deciding to go with the face-to-face approach?
Well, it wasn't really considered as the only platform or way to do a mentoring program. I think the priority really was to run a face-to-face and then put in some online communications to complement with the face-to-face mentoring from the workshop. Yeah.
Cool. And in terms of, we talk a bit about in the module about your objectives, your overarching objectives that mentoring's sort of intending to help achieve. And I guess you've got your YPARD Philippines strategy. How did you decide that mentoring was a way to achieve your objectives or your strategy, your broader strategy at the YPARD Philippines? What made you decide mentoring was the way to do that?
Well, when we kicked off with YPARD Philippines in 2015, one of the key strategies that we really identified was mentoring. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was also the time when the global coordinating unit decided to run a mentoring program, or it started off with some mentoring programs in Africa. And we saw that and we said we wanted to run something like that as well in the Philippines in the future. And looking at the agricultural sector, simply you're looking, YPARD looks at the issue of building the capacity of young people and empowering young people in the agri space, and mentoring is a very crucial component because there are a lot of senior scientists, senior professionals who've done a lot in their in their prime years, but was not really able to translate that and invest that into the next generation. And so we see that mentoring is really crucial in building that bridge between the older generation and the younger generation. So yeah.
And just throwing a last question in here, now that you've been through the mentoring orientation workshop, and if you look back at the time when you were making that decision about which mentoring approach you're going to take, face-to-face, online, or whatever, do you think you made the right decision?
Yeah, totally. When you saw the group dynamics within the workshop, you'd see that you know, these are different people coming from different backgrounds, and not all of them are by training in agriculture, but they have a heart to do something that's a component along the value chain of agriculture. And you know, they find each other and they say that, wow, I'm part of a bigger picture. And so you don't kind of like see that kind of group dynamics take place in an online space. You know, you get to talk to people, but it's different when they really see themselves for who they are, you know, even through the breaks, the lunch breaks, the snacks, the morning tea, the afternoon tea, you know, they get to talk and see their interests. The mentors also get to know their mentees, and it's not just all about work, but you also see them building relationship that would actually help them, you know, slingshot them into career, into professional life and development. So it's very nice, like seeing from that workshop, it was a good decision to have that face-to-face component, really.
Great. Thanks so much, Jim, for your insights.
All right.